Join me for real life questions with Mike.
Hello, today's question comes from Jim6607. Jim, thank you for subscribing. Like and subscribe. Hey Mike, firstly, really appreciate you for making such amazing videos. Oh, thanks, Gar. I want to apply for a graduate scheme. I want to ask two questions. One, I don't have a bachelor's degree. I'm studying an integrated master's, where I have a master's degree and diploma. Mostly graduate schemes require 2-1, so am I eligible if I get a pass in my master's and apply without a bachelor's? So, how does this apply in a sort of wider context? Very often people get confused about how they can equivocate grading systems. Even universities are just like, look, you've got to figure that out for yourself. The best way to think about it is percentages, right? So 70% and above is a first, 60 to 69 is a 2-1, 50 to 59 is a 2-2, and under 50 is a third. So always just think about percentages when you're trying to sort of equivocate it. In some countries, China being a good example, the bar for a first is higher. Different countries are different, but and also take that question to your university. But if you don't know and you're trying to guess because you want to put 2-1 into your CV, then just think about percentages. Second question, I'm already studying ACCA, I'm done with half my exams. Most of the firms, when I tell them I'm done with half of ACCA exams, say we can't take you because you're already studying a professional qualification. Are there firms which offer ACCA and grad scheme instead of ACA, ICAEW? So this is a good question about financial qualification. ACCA and ACA generally relate to audit and can also relate to tax. First of all, essentially the difference between ACCA and ACA is the technical working experience, right? Which is ACA is much more highly coveted in sort of professional terms because you have 500 days of technical working experience. So essentially I could study for the ACCA, but I'd never have worked a day in an accounting firm. If you've got the ACA, then you have been basically professionally observed working for 500 days, which is a significant amount of time. We're talking about, 4,000 hours of practical experience. So for firms that take ACCAs, probably much smaller companies. So when you're talking about gold standard financial qualifications, then they really want the highest level, which also demonstrates working experience. Remember, when it comes to and the wider context of this, for if you're considering studying an ancillary or an additional qualification, try to think to yourself, how can I apply this in the real world? I'll give you a very simple example. Take coding. Coding in any language, so whether that be Python, C++, I don't really know a lot about coding. But what I have done, when I've done coding in the past, and helped, I have a lot of software engineers and people related to data who reach out to me and do one-to-ones. I'm really interested in the practical application of the thing that you have learned. So don't tell me that you can code, show me what you have built. Don't tell me that you can draw, show me your drawings. Don't tell me that you can write, show me your writing. Does this make sense? So don't think about the qualification, think about the application of that qualification. And you can easily do that using a portfolio page. You can increase your profile by sharing it on your LinkedIn. Now, bearing in mind, if you just share something once, it's not particularly useful. And this goes back to an old idea that I would have shared about many years ago when you had this, when LinkedIn introduced a feature where you could share about the new qualification that you got. And anybody who has any professional experience, they're like, I don't care. This is not really relevant. Now, of course, in environments where things are highly regulated, then these qualifications are necessary, like the FRM for risk management. But where have you applied this qualification? Am I more likely to, if you think about it, if you're going to have surgery, who you're more likely to have? Somebody who's just qualified or somebody who's already got 5 years experience? Now you might say, well, that's the whole point, Mike. I'm trying to get experience to get the job, but you can still do stuff by yourself. I realise with the surgery example that would be a bit weird and possibly illegal, but you could, if you learn Python, cool, show me the stuff that you've built. If you learn HTML and CSS, show me the websites that you've built. If you were learning, there was a time when I used to do consultations for the London College of Fashion and University Arts London. And time again, when people would come onto the call, I'd say, where's your portfolio? Where's all the stuff that you've made? And they're like, oh, I spent 3 years, studying to do such and such. I'm like, wow, that's a really long time. Can I see what you've made? And they're like, oh, well, I had a project. And I'm like, okay, so basically you've not made anything in addition to the things that you had to do for the course. That's not really that impressive, because that's why you're there. You're basically just living life. Well done. If you're a coder, where's your GitHub? If you're a designer, an artist, where's your Behance? If you're a writer, where's your blog? If you're, even for something like the ACCAs, putting this into practical application, showing people what you've learned. This goes back to an old idea from Gary Vaynerchuk, which is document, don't create. So you can just share your journey as you're going along and the things that are difficult. You'll be amazed what can happen if you just allow people into your life and share what you're doing. Many great YouTube channels have been based upon that. In fact, this YouTube channel, even though I've had over a decade's worth of experience of helping people with jobs, I'm basically just sharing my experience and documenting as I create with these Ask Mike videos. So, Jim, I hope that helps you. I hope that helps anybody else who's struggling to equivocate their degrees and also thinking about getting an additional qualification. And if you've got other questions, let me know. I always read the comments. I always reply to the comments. And some of them, I'll do a video. Bye.